Good morning. Hand today's going to be 8-7. We are on the button. This is a 5 NL game folded to us. We open raise here. That's going to be that sizing's. I'm trying this. Did it in October, and I'm trying this again in November. The idea is if I'm in the late position, so cutoff button or small blind, and it's folded to me, and I've got a raise first in. I'm just going to do min bet. So that's what I did. And this is raise first in range, so we're playing a lot of hands here. We get called by the big blind, so he's playing 27-6. Not terribly loose, but it's more of a loose passive game. That kind of supported by his 3-bet stat, so 4 out of 160 times, 160 opportunities. So, we're kind of thinking he's probably not going to be raising us with anything unless it's like ace king. In the big blind, he plays 44% of hands. We have quite a few hands on him, so this is a player, and I think we've reviewed some of his hands. Yeah, we've reviewed some of his hands because I remember the queen 3 off. So the call two bet from the blinds, the queen 3 off. I remember ace 4 off, 10-4 suited. So I kind of think queen 3 off is an odd one. That's not typical for his range. I think that might be like a blind versus blind type hand. Same thing with the 10-4 suited. So when we look at his range, I put something like this. That's 46%. I think if we get rid of like 10-4, I do think he's got like 10-7. We're getting a hand range that looks something like this, 43%. And if we tighten up just a little bit on our suited hands, and that allows us to add some of these offsuit gappers. And I think that's probably okay. So we're going to go with this range here. Pretty big. I mean, it's big range versus big range. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to say that ace king, that's going to be his 3 betting range. So the flop comes down, ace 4-3. Villain folds his 3 bet at like 20%. Which is crazy if you ask me. But just his flop stats. He had a call c-bet. Call c-bet in position 67%. Call c-bet out of position 59%. He's calling a lot. Which means he's probably calling any pair or any sort of draw that he might have. So he checks to me, and I have the opportunity to bet, and I really don't have much of a hand here. I can attack. So if we look at like saying top pair plus, and then looking at our draws, we added gut shots in there. We're going right here at like 42%. And we've got a big range too. So if our range was a lot tighter, I think we're probably c-betting 100%. But here, because we've got such a big range as well, and probably a slightly bigger range than villain, I don't think we're c-betting 100%. So I think what we do is kind of shift some of these gut shot hands, one card gut shots from bets to checks. Kind of look at 2-card backdoor flush draws, maybe betting those as bluffs, and then betting maybe some of these bottom pairs as bluffs. So yeah, shifting some of these gut shots. And maybe we're gonna have to do all of these. But point being is that we really don't have a hand. So I think that's probably better. That's our c-bet hand. We don't have anything, so I checked behind, which kind of gives away a big part. I'm just like, I don't have anything. Maybe I catch something now, but this isn't a board that I'd really want to pursue. So I'm just going to go ahead, X all these out, and basically leave the hands that just don't have anything in it. And you can see 7, 8, it's in there. All right, so we checked, and then the ace comes out, and that just doesn't. I don't think it changes anything. Doesn't improve my range at all. I think since we checked the flop, it's going to be hard for me to kind of bet to represent anything. So when he checks to me, I just think I have to check behind. And this guy's not aggressive. So he's still going to have 100% of his range. I think other people, they're going to start taking shots at it once we check the flop. I think they're going to be betting. Some of their under pairs are going to be betting maybe the 3x, 4x type hands. Not this guy. I think this guy's keeping everything, all 100% of his range in here. So then it's on me. I check behind. Again, I don't have anything. So we basically have 100% of our checking range. And then the 2 comes out, 2 clubs. And that doesn't really change a whole lot. So villain checks, and at this point, once villain checks, I don't think he has a full house. I do think a full house would have been betting here in this case. I think his straight's probably not betting. Maybe a little bit, just because there's a pair on the board. 3 of a kind, yeah, same thing. Just because there's a possible straight, any 5 connects, I think that's going to cause him to kind of not really be willing to bet. And then all the rest of this, he's got his range here. So he checks, and the question is, if I bet, is he going to fold some stuff? Yeah, probably. And perhaps that's what we could do, but it's going to be a pure bluff. I basically have no value in my range. Because I would have been betting the gut shot. I would have bet if I had a 5. I probably would have bet on the flop if I had a 5. So at this point, if I bet here, I'm bluffing, and perhaps that's a play against a player that also has a massive range. So villain shows queen 3. So out of all of his hands, he had a pair, which he can easily have. I had these. So this was the hand where he had the queen 3, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, it doesn't really change what he had. So even just like adding it, I mean, we know he called my min raise with the queen 3 off. So he called button 2 big blind RFI in big blind with queen spades 3 hearts. He is out of position. Check, check, check on ace of hearts, 4 spades, 3 spades, ace of diamonds, 2 clubs. All right. So I show this hand. Just, not a lot of action. There is no action. But I think this is just kind of going through GTO versus exploitative, because since the ranges are so wide, when we look at what we're going to see bet on the flop, it almost seems like we're going to be c betting any piece of this board, any piece at all, and that leaves that our checking range as being just all of these hands in the middle that don't have any sort of draw, don't have a straight draw, don't have a flush draw, or backdoor draws or at all. And I guess you've got like your Broadway do have backdoors if you improve, if you get another Broadway card on the turn. I could give you the gut shot, but point being that, our range was big. The board didn't really help us, and the run out, like the ace and the 2, didn't really improve us at all. I do think if I c-bet this, that he is definitely going to call. If I bet the turn, I think he's probably definitely going to call. None of his stats here suggest that he's going to give up a one pair type hand. And let's see here. Yeah, we got a check call. So limp first in, call button, 4-bet, ISO raise with king 10. Check called 33%, check called 100%, check called 150% all in. He flopped a 10. Well then has the straight 8, 9, 10, jack, queen that he was calling on. Yeah, open ender. See here, ace 8. See an ace 8. He catches top pair. 9, 8, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9, 8 offsuit on a jack 8, 7. Went check, check, and then a check call for a third pot with third pair. So yeah, I just don't think. I think based on how he plays, I don't think we're going to be stabbing at this pot with much. He's if he's got anything, he's going to call, and perhaps that's what we could have done on the flop. But again, he just doesn't really fold a whole lot on the flop. And that left me wondering, is he going to be a player that is he going to be a player that calls, that'll only call with like a pair or a draw, or is he also a player that's going to call lightly with like a king, queen, king, jack? So if we think he's going to call with those like king, queen, king, jack with these hands, then yeah, perhaps we just go ahead and c-bet everything and take those folds, because that's going to be that range. If we go back to here and we bet and we say he's going to call with any pair, with any flush draw, with any open ender, we'll give him the gut shots. He's calling 55%. He's folding 45%. He's folding over 40% of the time. So yeah, we could probably bet small. We could probably go half pot and yeah, we could probably go half pot or a little lower. But with the size of this pot, it's 4.4. You bet 2 big blinds. He's gonna probably fold, and that could result in like an auto profit spot potentially. All right, so maybe I missed that c-bet and could have picked up the pot, but in reality, he's not. And that's, if I miss a c-bet, what I'm saying is I'm missing the c-bet because I'm missing it any of those times where he has these hands that would have folded. But again, he doesn't look like he folds a whole lot on the flop. So hopefully you like this, really check down hand. See the queen 3 offsuit finally for this player. If you enjoy the hand, look maybe this week for a hand, or this weekend. Might be doing another one, or we'll pick back up on Monday.